Hello, my name is Anya and I am back again to continue my series about the runes. So I'm still at the second Ayatir. We had Hagalas, Naudis, Isa, and today we are talking about Jera. Jera stands for the year and for the harvest or the wheel of the year. So its element is the earth, its deities Balder and Tanfana, its herb it's Rosemary, its tree the oak, and its Fildia, to work with this rune, it's the eagle. So Jera is the fourth irreversible rune and connects opposite or opposing aspects. And of course she stands or combines female and male principles, right? The cosmic fertility aspect of this rune points to Freyr and Freya, who were called back then for good harvest and for peace, and I talked about them before. But also Jera stands for Balder, the god of the sun, and Tanfana, the goddess of harvest. Yeah, like Jera literally translates as year and symbolizes the eternal rhythm of coming and going, or generally the wheel of time. The image of the rune, if you look at it, represents the cycle of summer and winter. So, and you could also say, since it connects opposing aspects, it could also indicate like the marriage of sun and earth, because it's the wheel of time. So I mean, these days, which I find we're like totally disconnected to those cycles, right? Because back then, when the season changed, like our ancestors, they didn't need a calendar, to know what time it was in the year. It was in the blood, so they were in tune with the nature, with the energies, with the weather. They were like totally in tune with everything. So, and we are totally disconnected, first of all, because of the stupid Gregorian calendar, which is like totally faked and just another programming thing. But I'm not drifting off because I would. But Anna Ravenwolf and we talked about it a while back ago. Yeah, so we cannot even understand really the connection of our ancestors that had the connection to the annual circle and its changes. Because for them, not only the season changed or the weather, but so did people's life. Because they knew when, for them it was a cycle of sowing and harvesting. So, but that also means like standing straight for the consequences. So if you didn't sow your seeds good enough and didn't take care, well, there was nothing to harvest, right? Or if the weather got in the way, like Hagalas, then but they were aware about those consequences. So Jera is also the rune of hope and movement. So nothing stays the way it is. It changes with every circle of the year. So Jera stands for the end of downward movement and for the new momentum in the upward movement. Just take a look at the picture. So, and if you follow this rhythm of that rune, you enjoy harmony and peace. So, and it would be nice if we could all kind of connect to that again, but I know it's hard because these days we have our calendar, we get our veggies and our fruits in the supermarket all year long, and it doesn't matter what. So I don't think we know to appreciate that anymore, because whenever we need something, we walk into the supermarket. Fact. And yeah, so of course you can't appreciate. You don't care if there was a hail, if there was a storm, if the seeds didn't pan out, if the birds took them, and so on, because you just grab it. So there is no real appreciation anymore, I find. So I mean, I plant some veggies, but I have a big yard, but since it's not mine, since I'm renting the house, I don't want to dig the whole backyard into a big veggie field. Other than that, I would. But it's not much. It's just for me, but I see the work in it, and I appreciate it a bit more. So in last year, my harvest wasn't very good. So obviously I did something wrong somewhere. Of course, including environmental shit, but I'm not the one that likes to blame it on others or the environment. I didn't take care enough of it, So, and I'm totally drifting off again. So, Jera follows Isa, as spring follows the winter, and we talked last week about Isa. So the stagnation of the ice is broken by the new season, right? And in the same way, however, the whole set of the runes I don't like to call them negative runes, I like to call them the runes of work. So that stagnation has been broken now. So it's a new circle begins. Not only has this been how can I explain that? Like, if you go through the ayat and you follow everything of it, you fight against the ice, or what you see as unfair fate. But it also has been learned from experience, and now you can wait for the coming events. So to say, the reward and the harvest of what you have accomplished. And the Nordic name R of the rune, R, like AR, it associates with the eagle as a symbol of fast flight and the sun. So Jera is the fertility, creativity, peace, harmony, enlightenment, and most of all the understanding of the cycle of nature, and the mystery of the general present of the cycle, securing the harvest and fertility, overcoming all that stagnation. So an manifestation of other concept in the visible world, right? So everything that you worked on, this is now the time for your harvest. So you can also wear the rune as an amulet, so that will protect you against damage done from others. And also it helps you overcoming the stagnation and facing difficulties. Like if you're still a little stuck in Isa, it helps you to break the ice a little more. And I'm just saying, if you're stuck in Isa, like I said, sometimes Isa invites us to go to take a look in us, right? But you will know what I mean if you have listened to Isa. So also then we have the destructive part of Isa. It can show us that there is a delay or a big change coming that we are not expecting, or a conflict that we still have to deal with. So, and this is what I mean with it helps us break the ice. So if you're still stuck in a certain situation, but it's just like the little tip to break the ice, Jera can help you with that. So, and it also has like a neutral stand. So, and it literally says everything in its time. You know, that's pretty simple to understand. Everything will come when the time is right. So, then we have the magical power of Jera. So Jera can be used to promote fertility. You know, if man and woman are working on a baby, you know. So, like visualizing Jera or working with Jera, it can help promote fertility. But not also for humans. It's also for animals or plants, you know, because, like I said, it's the harvest, so you can promote it with that. So, and if you draw Jera in a clockwise direction, it can accelerate a process. And counterclockwise, you can slow events down. You know, like either you think it's going too slow or it's going too fast for you. You can use it as a tuner. Yeah, and again, it helps you to overcome the stagnation, as I mentioned before, right? I think I mentioned it before. No, I'm sure I mentioned it. Yeah, Jera shows a dynamic rotation of cycles, right? Formed by opposing components. And you can see that in a rune very well. So it's the opposites of summer and winter, and they form the circle of the year. Fire and ice, the circle of creation, man and woman, right? They create new human life, and so on. So, and Jera stands for death and rebirth. So, the fruitful completion, right, of the annual cycle. So, like, for example, the harvest season. So, like, you know, season ends, season begins. I don't think I have to explain that more, but you know what I mean with death and rebirth, I trust. Yeah, so also yeah, as I said in the very beginning, it represents the universal law of harvest in any matter. You know, you can reap the way you sowed, you know? The rune holds the key to every process that runs in a particular order. So, very simple. Just follow the laws of the circle. You know, you gotta work in order to harvest. If you like it or not, you gotta keep moving. If you don't, you're stuck. You're just stuck. And then you're in your stagnation, and that wasn't English, but you know what I mean. So if you want to use the rune on decreasing and increasing moon, the increasing moon, it helps you to defend yourself and ward off, energies. Like, and I don't mean entity energies, I mean energies of, jealousy, jealous people, or people that are stopping your process, So even creditors, people that you own something. Is it money? Is it a favor? If you can't do it right now, it gives you time. That doesn't mean you never have to pay up. Don't get me wrong, So in a decreasing moon, if you feel attacked by a person, you can return it. But again, be careful what you do. Right? Remember the 3 goddess law. The past, the present, the future. Be always ready to receive the gift back if you do something nasty. So, and if you pulled Jera in a reading for yourself or for someone else, if she comes to you, she wants to tell you about hopes and expectations, and that peace and prosperity is coming your way. So she gives you the promise of success. The results of all your efforts, they have been realized now. So there is change and progress and movement now. So, but of course, if you draw Jera, then you've done your work. You did it right. And maybe which I might want to recommend, be aware of the seasons and their change. Pay a little more attention to what's going on. We take things for too granted these days. I mean, yes, we kind of got forced into that due to reprogramming and all. But please, since we're aware of that now, we have no more excuses. So get your bum up and do a little bit, right? Be aware of the seasons. Be aware of the fruits you buy, that you eat. Taste them and be grateful. Be grateful you have the night so you can go sleep, unless you're on night shift. Be grateful for the day coming, that you wake up. It's not hard. So, and by doing the right things at the right time, you ensure also your profit. You will reap what you have sown, like I said before. And, but then don't forget that also means standing up for the consequences of your action. So, depending on what you were sowing, right? So, and remember, storms come and go. We all know that. But there will always be sun in life. So, try to enjoy your life and have fun, as much as you can. Like I said, be aware of the seasons, of their changes. Maybe even get your fruits and vegetables from local farmers. Have maybe a little conversation. Maybe ask if you can help them over the weekend to get a little feeling for it. I did that. So, yeah, so all over, in a summary, like Jera embodies the universal, I can't talk, the cycle, I can't talk anymore, like seriously, the patterns of the cycle of new becomings, and yeah, like I said, throughout the Rune series, it breaks the ice. yeah, it's the cycle. It presents the cycle of new beginnings. So yeah, I think this is pretty much what I have to say. So it's all about the laws of nature, right? So, and enjoy the fruits of your hard work. You know, if you achieved something, then be totally jumping around, happy of joy, be proud of yourself. So, because I mean, you chose those goals. Is it consciously or instinctively, you know? So this is valid for the world of visible appearances as well, you know, as for the realms of the gods. So that counts for them as well. Yeah, I think that is pretty much all I have to say about Jera for now. So like I said, I talked about Freya and Freya already. So I'm gonna explain a little bit about Balder or Baldur. He's a god of light and the god of purity, truth, beauty, and justice. So I talked about him before too. I just remember, but I like him. Like he matches with that room. He's a god of spring, and he's also he died by his fate, but was also resurrected. You know, again, the symbol of death and rebirth. And he's also the enemy of all injustice, right? And he was also called the Shining God, the Shining God. So, and Balder is the son of Odin and Frigg, and his. I want to tell that little story because I like it. I just keep it short. So, in his twin brother is Hödur, his other brother is Hermod. Balder's wife is Nanna, which I find interesting, Nanna, with whom he is the father of Forseti, the god of justice. At the same time, he is the father of the goddess Fuseta. So, I'm just gonna read what I gathered out of the, Edda. Like, I'm not reading it one by one out of the Edda, but so that it's easier to understand. Balder's long blonde hair is considered the warming rays of the summer sun. He's the gentlest of all gods, and the most popular of all gods in the Nordic sagas. For all incomprehensibly, Balder was tortured by bad nightmares. To investigate their cause, Odin rides on Sleipnir to heal. In the realm of the dead, he sees Balder's reception already prepared, and a seer reveals to him that Balder is soon met by his brother Odur, would be killed. So, as a countermeasure, Frigg made promises to all living things, plant and also stones, in the world that Balder should not be harmed. However, so she made the law that nothing on earth, no living being, no plant, no animal could ever harm him. Okay? So, however, Frigg forgot the mistletoe. And I talked about this in my presentation of the mistletoe as well. So, and this circumstance, and about this circumstance, Loki was aware. So, at a Thing meeting of they they shoot for fun at Balder to test its invulnerability. So they started shooting at him because Frigg said, okay, he can't be harmed, so, you know, it must be a guy thing, like, ha 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 ha, let's see it. So, but Loki made an arrow out of the branches of the mistletoe and gave it to the blind Hödur, who unknowingly shoots at Balder and kills him. This moment marks the beginning of the end of the world. With Balder's death, everything beautiful and peaceful disappeared from the world. His wife Nanna also died with him because her heart is bursting. On a ship, Hirinkoni, Balder and Nanna were to be buried. A giantess was supposed to push the ship into the water, but at her first jolt, she hit the rollers and the star was shaking. Thor saw this as profanation of the funeral and wanted to beat the giantess' head, but the others calmed him down. When the ground was drained, Balder and Nanna were put on it. Shocked, Odin puts his ring, Draupnir, on the ship. Then the fire was kindled. Thor killed also one of 2 dwarfs by accident. But like I said, that story would be too far. Like the Edda is a big book. So I just want to go into the details because it connects with rebirth and, you know, doing your work to harvest. So the Aces send Hermod to Hel. I can't talk for the life of it today. Hermod is a son Odin's. So, and he is a messenger of the gods and rode after the death of his brother Balder onto the I didn't translate that part, so that's why now I have to translate again. I forgot to translate that because I always write it down in German and then I start translating. So he rode on the horse of the gods, Sleipnir, into the underworld to ask Hel to release the people, to release the 3 dead. So the goddess of death agrees. Like, so he asks her, you can kill me if you release my brother, his wife, and so on, right? So the goddess of death agrees to kill him, only when all being mourned for him should Balder return from the kingdom of Hel. So that does not seem impossible because Balder was universally popular and everybody loved him. Then all cried, even the metals and the stones. But the giant, Tok, did not shed a tear, and Balder had to remain in the realm of the dead. So she said that Hel should keep what she owns. The giantess, Tok, was none other than Loki himself. But Hermod does not return empty-handed. He brings Odin's ring, Draupnir, back to Asgard. So, and to make it again a little shorter, only after Ragnarok, Balder and Hödur will return, reconciled, and dominate the new purified world in harmony. So, and this story tells us nothing is as it seems, and nothing is lost, right? So I like that story. So, but it tells us we have to work, and we not only like me or our community or the people are listening, like the whole freaking planet has to do something. Like seriously, but I can't get into that now. So, and then there's also the goddess Tanfana. I personally do not know too much about her, but I know she goes with a rune, and it was the Germanic Celtic people. They worshipped her as the goddess of harvest. So, and as far as I know, there was even a place. Well, the studies say this and this. One they say it was a goddess of harvest, and the others say no, it was just a place somewhere in Germany that was called after. So, and it has to do with that little story here on a historical base. The Teutons, like all advanced civilization, and they were advanced, okay? So were the Mayas, so were the natives, they were all advanced. Why were they advanced? Not because they had a TV, not because they had a car, because they lived in tune with the nature and they could take care of themselves. So they reflected the harmony of the heavens on earth, literally. Right? You know, the weather, the stars, the sun, it all reflects on earth. So they brought the wisdom of the All-Mother, Mother of all, and or the universe and the all, like the all. I can't really explain it better. So, and they brought that all in their earthly home. So, and Mother Earth back then belonged equally to all living souls. So, and there was a tribe, a community tribe of Tanfana, and those included the Maza, the Cheruska, Bruktara, and Chatten. So those were Celtic tribes. And they felt our planet Earth was an equivalent of all life. For them, like stones, plants, trees, animals, right? They were just as important as themselves. So, and therefore they had to be met with respect, which we are all lost. So, and the people in the north in particular moved their they worship more the sea, the strange, huge ocean, you know. So where the water came and went in the union with the moon, the ocean and the sea. So are the only Germanic feminine words for water. Like, and I'm talking back then. So, and and that's what I like about those ancient cultures, no matter where they are. You know, they had respect, and we don't have respect anymore. We don't have respect for our Mother Earth. We don't have respect of what we eat. You know, today it's all about quick. I'm as guilty as hell as well. You know, tired, too lazy, and this and that. Here an excuse, there an excuse. So, and as I mentioned before, we should try to get a little more in tune with the seasons without a calendar, just looking at the skies, just looking at our nature. You know, maybe what happens if it was dry and it rains, you know, just breathe in the earth, the leaves, you know what I mean? Or in springtime when everything starts blooming, and, you know, watch the life growing. I just like it. And in fall, for example, everything smells nice. Everything is dying, but it smells nice. It's not a bad death. It just making room for something new. And I'm so drifting off again. Sorry about that. Back then, when the tribes were celebrating a big festival, you know, to celebrate the harvest, to worship the harvest, and so they used to celebrate it, right, with the old ancient tradition festivals, you know, and that was their harvest festival. So, and they enjoyed it, and you know, they were kind of still sleeping because they had their honey wine, their meat, and that stuff is one of my favorite, and it really, you know, is good. So they were like sleeping here and there, you know. And then who came in? Germanicus. So the Romans. So yeah, and he had everyone killed with fire and a sword. And it didn't matter what, if old, if young, men, women, children. So, and that's, yeah, and that's why historians say, people that studying history, it's probably the name of a town, but I don't know, I don't see it. But again, so all I know that the Teutones, they worshipped, you know, her and spoke her thanks for the harvest. So then we have the eagle. I mean, I could go on a bit more, but I think I'm drifting off again. So then we have the eagle. The eagle is called the king of the skies. The eagle helps us to stand up. You know, he helps us to step out of us, and he awakens the creativity, the potential in us to a new life. So, and people who have the eagle as a spirit animal, they're asked actually to take responsibility for their lives. So it's not like, whoa, I saw the eagle, I have the eagle as a spirit animal, I'm free. Yeah, no, he's actually asking you to take on responsibility. So he leads into other dimensions and spiritual knowledge and self-determination. So he flies high above our heads, and he invites us, you know, to keep track of a situation in our life or in general situations. So this can happen only if you allow yourself to look at the given situation, right? So, and from several angles, like the eagle does, and then you can find new perspectives. Turn your life wheel further by not putting your head in the sand, but bravely spread your wings and free yourself, you know? Take over the subjects, the topics, you know, and take a good look at them. So like the animal, like the eagle, he is a hunter. He does not hesitate long after he has spotted his prey, right? He just goes right down, like he goes down to action, he's in. So like lightning fast. So yeah, he supports you to get out of the dramas of your life and, you know, to take a new direction, depending on what it is. So he encouraged you to freely, and distantly perceive new directions and options in life, to, like, here, how about this? That looks good. That's easier to reach, like the eagle, tries to get his prey. Like he knows, oh, no. If I get down there now, not good, not working. Let's try another way. So yeah, that about the beautiful eagle. So if you work with that rune, the eagle will support you. The fylgja of that rune is the eagle, so the eagle will support you if you want to work with this rune. So then we have the herb, the rosemary. So I talked about this before too. So, like in aromatherapy, the emotional effect of rosemary is very balancing and mind strengthening. And it also helps concentrating. It really does. So I should have just, like put some rosemary on. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm a little, tired, I guess. So, and if you inhale a few drops of the oil, that can create like really mental clarity. And it stimulates. So even back in the ancient Egypt, like it was a typical incense plant. I mean, for me, it still is today. So because rosemary incense purifies and it clear away negative energies, or even demons. I talked about the demons as well, your inner demons, from other people created demons. It helps you clear them away. So when one's inner strength is too weak, like pleasure and the drive of everything is like lost. So the spirit of the rosemary, he awakens, he shakes, and he's like, hey, let's do that, right? He cheers you up, and it helps you strengthen the willingness to do something. And I have those days where I really don't want to move, or I don't even have the drive to do my dishes. Occasionally we all do, right? But when it's like longer than 2 days and I don't feel like doing anything, it's like not good. So, yeah, the rose, the spirit of the plant, the spirit of the herb will help you to get out of problems where you're stuck. So, and it will show you the way out, literally. And once you get to the exit, right, then you can eliminate your problems. And the incense gives us also strength, and we become aware of our inner strength. And, and therefore we gain the courage to move into either another direction or continue. Depends on all of the situation. So, and like I mentioned, the mind too, right? It makes you more cheerful and fresh, and the concentration improves. And even if you're like one of those fearful people, it helps you to root yourself and get your self-confidence that you actually have, that you don't just have access to. Yeah, so it's a very good problem solver. Yeah, and also the rosemary is a powerful awakening remedy that helps us to incarnate, and I'm not talking about incarnation like reincarnation, being born and whatever. I'm talking about like when you awake, and I spoke about this before, you open your eyes and everything is new to you, even though it was always there, but you see it for the first time new. And we all we get overwhelmed by what we all of a sudden see and understand. So Rosemary will help you with that as well. So yeah, Rosemary is more like a spiritual guide, like a soul connector. So, and of course, there are all the medical aspects as well. Again, if you have rosemary in your cupboard for cooking, if you have it hopefully in your backyard as a plant, I just love it because it smells so good. I gotta plant some soon. I gotta start planting my seeds. So, and since rosemary is very stimulating, as I mentioned before, it plays an important role in the treatment of low blood pressure. So if you have high pressure, I don't recommend doing anything with rosemary, like oils, etc. Like, don't put any of that oil in your creams or whatever you do with rosemary. I mean, obviously you can cook with rosemary. It's about the amount and the intensity. So what else do we have here? So rosemary is astringent, stimulating, of course, antibacterial. It's relaxing. And now you're asking, well, you just said it's stimulating. Yes, it is stimulating. And it's also good for, like I said, depression. So, I mean, if you're depressed or you have anxieties, you cannot be relaxed. So, if I make sense. So, it's also very good anti-inflammatory, for loss of appetite, for any kind of stomach weakness. Low blood pressure, like I said. Don't mess around with it if you have high blood pressure. If you're nervous, if you feel weak, if you feel fatigue. And also very good, what I like to do, it's for headaches or migraine. I like to make my own tea for migraine with rosemary, lavender, willow bark. What else did I put in there? Thyme. And verbena. So that is like my migraine tea. So, and it really helps. And also for the ladies, if you have like a mild menstruation and you really want to get it out of your system, it's menstruation promoting. So therefore, if you're pregnant, don't take rosemary, because, like I said, it's stimulating your uterus. So you don't want to risk anything, right? And it's also good for hair loss or skin rashes, external. So yeah, I think I'm done. And I mentioned the alder tree the other time, so I'm not bringing it in again because I don't want to make it too long, and I think I babbled on long enough now, and I apologize if I'm too squirrely today, but I'm a working person, so sometimes I'm tired, and I didn't feel like deleting and recording again. I just go with the flow. So, well, I would like if you leave me a comment of what you think or if you have any questions. I hope you enjoyed it and found some information that you can work with. And I will talk to you all later, and I will be back next week with Ivas. And between that, I want to talk about dragons. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Well, thank you very much for listening, and blessed be wherever you are. Bye-bye.